Welcome back to Vagabond, Gypsy, Tarot, and Oracle readings. Today we are doing our 3-pile pick a card week 2 shadow work. If you followed me for week 1, that was posted on Saturday, November 4th. If you want to go back and take a look at that, we're doing a 3-part series here of shadow work for November. November I consider to be a big month for shadow work. And I decided that I would bring Persephone in on this one. Mythology on Persephone is she is a goddess whose mother, her mother is Demeter, and her mother is the goddess of nurturing, harvest, and Persephone is her daughter, who is naive, inexperienced, and very youthful energies, not too wise to the evils and cautionary tales of the world. So I did not mention that I wore this ring last week, and I'm wearing it today. It is pomegranates, and it reminds me of Persephone in this season of the year. With Persephone, the reason why she went to the underworld. Okay, so she went to the underworld for 6 months of the year. She spent time with her husband, Hades, during the fall and winter months, and she spent her time with her mother here on this earthly realm, or that's the way I look at it. Mythology, not too sure, but she spent time with her mother in the earthly realm, spring and summer. So in spring she would reemerge again to be with her mother until fall, which is the season of Persephone going to the underworld. And I kind of feel like fall with the shadow work gives me that Persephone underworld vibe. And by the way, Hades did lure Persephone because he found her so beautiful. She ended up eating, I believe it was 6 pomegranates, which led to him having control of Hades, having control of Persephone. And Demeter, Persephone's mother, made a deal with Hades, per se, that she could have him for 6 months, and then she would have her for 6 months. So mythology says that that's why death and decay happened on earth with the crops dying through the fall and the winter, was because that was the punishment that Demeter set forth on the earth while she mourned her daughter being gone for those 6 months of the year. But when she came back, then all life came back onto the earth. Now that's just a summary of how I understand the story, and if you are more versed into that mythological story, you may have more information than I do. This is just a quick a quick little tidbit. So I thought that we would have Persephone hanging out here with this reading. Also, I did grab a little pyramid because it kind of reminded me of what we talked about last week with the pyramid style chart of writing down your points, however many points you made, whether you made it 3, like the 3 of Cups that we had in that one, or you make it the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 has been my number for the last couple years. I don't know why, but anyways, Five resonates with me for some reason recently. It's funny how things change, because 7 was the number that used to resonate with me. Now, for some reason, I still like 7, but 5 seems to resonate with me a lot. So I'm keeping the same stones. I'm using the same cards because I really liked the readings we got last week for this workshop, if you want to call it that. Now we are on week 2. And the question that I have for my week 2 that you can journal or put into a collage board or however you want to do it is, when was the last time I felt defensive, and what caused that? When was the last time that I felt defensive? Who, what caused that? And then also a second question that you could ask yourself is, what behaviors in other people and yourself upset you? So when was the last time you felt defensive, and who and what caused that? And what behaviors upset you in yourself and other people? But I would start with other people, and then go back and look at it and decide if it relates to how you see things. Now I'm going to let you have a quick look at my little, I did find my collage board. Okay, so I have, I'm not going to scope out the screen because I have everything set. And this is, I'll kind of move it up so you can see it. I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet. Gandhi, that was a saying that really resonated with me. Now, this was from a couple years ago, and I think I need to do another one because this things have changed a bit, although I do like some of it. And then let's go up and look at a little bit more of it. Weight loss, healthy, of course, kind of like resolutions. Always wanted to keep an eye on that stuff. And then I have water, which made me feel like cleansing, and a crone, and remember who you're here for. These are just some of the things that popped up. And here's a cool saying: unless you learn to face your own shadows, you will continue to see them in others, because the world outside of you is only a reflection of the world inside of you. Now this is from, I don't know who this is, but I need to give credit since I'm showing this. Give credit where credit is due. But anyways, I really like that saying. So that was my little, it's just little, I don't know, 11 by 17 or something. It's a piece of like cork board or something. It's like white plastic with like little air things inside, just like a piece of board like that. And I cut it. It was in a bigger piece. I just cut it into, I think, a third when I did that one. But that's just something that really, and I'm not, trust me, I'm not the type of person to sit down and do this kind of thing, like sit and take the time to do it. So it was really something I had to set my mind into doing, because it's not something that I do. This was the only one I've ever done. But I feel like I have to do another one. I might wait till January, because January for me is also a big month of not so much shadow, but hermity type energy. So let's hop into this and see what we've got going. So we've got Persephone, and I'm gonna just set her up over there. And then we've got our little pyramid. So we have pile 1. As I said last week, it's the crystal points with gold mica, which I adore. A selenite wand stone, cube, whatever you want to call it, for pile 2, pile 1, pile 2. Then pile 3 is the, oh my gosh, I forgot. It left my mind here. Palmstone, agate, ocean egg. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of the name of it right now. It left my mind. I got too much time thinking. But anyways, pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Ocean jasper. Palmstone, I believe. I could be wrong. But anyways, yes, so that's it. We have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on pause and go over to pile 1. And I think I suggest that, if you have the time, you could certainly watch all 3 of these again. I found it useful to watch all 3, just with all the information that was given. So I'm going to pause this, and we will see you back at pile 1. Welcome back, pile 1. I went ahead and picked your oracle card previous, rather than shuffle it with you on the phone, online here. I'm gonna set her sideways or something. I don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. Okay, so let's see what the oracle message is. The poet. And I'm going to read from the book again because I really did like that. We have Knight of Candles. And we have the High Priestess. And we have Princess of Cups. Okay, so let's start by reading the archetype message, the poet. I find that to be the best way of starting out this reading. And I'm going to read it from the book. So let me go ahead and find it. Oh, I found it right away. 75. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the poet card, it says the artist, the witness, the truth teller. So with our question this week, what irritated you? What was the last thing that basically irritated you? Let me find how I wrote it down. What was the last time I felt defensive? And who caused it? What was the scenario? What caused it? And what behaviors upset me in other people? So the poet's work is to feel immensely and not be afraid. They must seek out truth in the darkest corners of the world and carry it back for all to see. This unique capacity resides within all of us, regardless of our relationship to creativity. When the poet energy is present, there is a call for deep honesty and reflection, for seeing the big picture within the little one. That's a huge, this deck is really good for shadow work, I'm finding. So if you don't have this deck, I would suggest it. Again, there is a call for deep honesty and reflection, for seeing the big picture within the little one. Then you will see the little one. That's not her writing, but that's what I'm saying. Now, the poet rides effortlessly between the personal and the universal. It's possible that others may not seem to listen or care about the poet's work, but do not be discouraged. The words of the poet ring true for centuries to come, soothing the wounds of despair and violence that captivate our world. The poet's work is never finished. Find your voice and trust that the wind will carry it. That's very beautiful. And I want to go back to a comment in here that says, it's possible that others may not seem to listen or care about the poet's work, but do not be discouraged. I find that to be a key message in this poet card, because it says, what has, you know, irritated you basically about others? It might be the fact that they don't listen to you. You know, that could be, or you feel like you're unheard. You feel like others are more important than you, and you know, you might not feel like that. Might be something that irritates you about yourself as well, is that you don't feel like you stand out, like you're just, I hate to use the same phrase, but like a cog in the wheel. It's like how I can think of it. So the Knight of Candles is the Knight of Wands, basically, because it's fire. Look how cute that is. And her dress looks like a flame, a candle flame as well. And so does her head. So anyways, it's time to basically move ahead. Doesn't mean you have to charge ahead. You've got your candle at hand. You're ready to see beyond the shell that you are. You're ready to search deeper, go into the darkness inside of you that you're not able to always decipher. When you get angry or upset about something, we don't sit and think about, well, what is it that made me angry? We just are angry and we stew until it's gone. Now, Wands is the season of spring, which is interesting because I did have Demeter here with spring, and maybe things will change in the spring here with you. Maybe you coming forward to be with with Persephone being with her mother will open up some, maybe this season of your shadow work will open up a new you for the spring. Now, fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and wands are about passion, motion, making movement, and creatively making movement. So that's something that you might want to keep an eye on. And then we have the beautiful High Priestess here, one of my favorite cards. Secrets, mystery, trusting yourself, and trusting yourself to seek out the answers that you're looking for. And look at the beautiful flowers. I don't really know. I know that this person made this deck without really, I believe, associating with the flowers too seriously with the card. She just put them in there, I believe. And we have the Princess of Cups, Princess of Emotions, Princess of Cups. So that is, I'm going to say, like loving yourself along the way. This is taking a lot of emotion and a lot out of you, or it could take a lot out of you. I don't know that it will take a lot out of you, but it could take a lot out of you. And I feel like this card is the card of showing kindness and love to yourself along the way, knowing that, you know, this could open up some things that you might not believe. You might not you might not, you might be questioning. I mean, this is like a youthful energy. It's about, it's kind of like a dreamer energy. Um, Following your heart and knowing that what you find is what you find, and accepting it and working with it. Um, it might even take some, like, day daydreaming, I want to say, like making up little scenarios of how you could react differently to situations that are positive, that make you feel negative. Because this is actually, the in this deck, the princess is basically the page. So it's of, page of cups is of like new, brand new energy. You're ready to go into this with that dreamer attitude, youthful energy, and emotionally throw yourself into this, because this is the Princess of Cups. And look at it looks like a pelican almost. But it's absolutely beautiful. Emotionally, you're ready to, go in, jump right into this work, and figure out what your trigger points are, who sets them off, why they set them off. And that's why I actually started my, my board, because I was triggered by somebody, and I didn't like it, and I wanted to know why. And it helped me to set focus on the things that, were much more important, for one thing. And it also kind of, helped me to work through those energies around that person that made me triggered. Now, I think it helped a lot, and I've always been, I mean, I think the collage board helped a lot, but I am enjoying doing this pyramid points, and I'm doing the 5 and then writing everything on the inside. And then now this week I'm excited to add to it, because I'm following along as well. So with that High Priestess energy, and we have a page and a knight, we have a lot of, youthful energy, a lot of Persephone kind of. This is an experience as well for us. If you haven't done this work before, this is something new. I think it's something worth, doing every year, to be honest with you. I think it's a good thing to get into, because things change, and maybe we can take control of that side of us that causes us to be triggered. I don't think I read this one, the Knight of Candles. It says, "But lo, a stir is in the air, the wave, there is a movement there." I love these cards, by the way. The Poe deck. And this deck is just stunning. The Anatomy of Tarot. And then the, Heaven and Earth. I love all of them. Anyways, Yeah, I really like that. You know what? I'm going to actually look up that, the Knight of Candles. See if there's any other messages here that I like that saying. Queen. Okay. Okay, underneath that, it says, underneath this saying, it says the city in the sea. So reversed, if this card, so the shadow side of this card is being reckless, hasty, or not following through. So you might give up if you look at your shadow message on this card. It might be something that you give up on, and you don't ever try to work through it. You know, I'm going to look up this city by the sea. City by the sea. Okay. Okay, so it's a poem, obviously. Um, so it says here that it is suggested that death may be worse than the devil. The weird setting and its foreboding remoteness in the city by the sea is a common device of Gothic fiction. This combines with the poem's theme of a self-conscious dramatization of doom, similar to Poe's The Sleeper in the Valley of Unrest. So I don't know if you care to read the poem or not, but I mean, it doesn't have a direct message with that comment there to what we're talking about. But I guess in a sense, if you want to look at it in one way, one aspect, I would say that the comment of death is worse than the devil, I would say that this is a good reason for you to do shadow work, because the stuff that triggers you and gets you upset and angry, it's better to work through it than to let it haunt you forever and just be part of you. So I would rather work through it and see where my trigger points are and try to figure out why. What may have caused that? Is it years of just looking at things in one way, straight ahead, and not allowing yourself to open up and be who you truly are? So that's just one thought. But I mean, if you want to go ahead and read that poem, go ahead. Take anything you want out of this. And since we were talking about the poet, it might be worth it to look at other poems as well. It could be Edgar Allan Poe, or it could be other poems that you find online or in the bookstore. So it looks like it's time for you to do a deep diving within yourself to see what really makes you tick, you know, what really triggers you, and how you can work with that. And it's probably, like I said, something that you haven't done before. So I am going to go ahead and end this one for part 1, and I would like to see you back at part 2. So we will see you at pile 2, not part 2, and pile 2 will be next. So we'll see you right back there. Welcome back, pile 2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the selenite there. And I did pre-pick your oracle card. This is the Mountain. Okay. Then we have the Hanged Man. I was looking at it upside down, sorry. And then we have the Magician. And then we have the Princess of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm going to start out by reading out of the archetype book, The Mountains, and see what our oracle message is. Really am enjoying this book for these cards for the Shadow series that I'm doing here. Okay, let's see, 129 is the page. Here we go. The ascent, the peak, the insurmountable. The mountain stands eternally in our awareness, calling us toward its peak. It stirs up stoic and regal feelings, reminding us of a long line of spirits, sages, sadhus, and gods that made their humble thrones within its snowy peaks. Beware, though, as the mountain can affect us in two ways. It can inspire and enliven us to rise to new heights and peak experiences, yet it can also create isolation, competitiveness, and an inflated sense of self. Standing upon its heights can activate the purist and the perfectionist in us, creating separation from those we deem to be below. No matter how high you ascend, remember that it is within the core of the mountains that the gems, minerals, and jewels reside. If you think it's all about going up, you're following the fool's path and missing the miner's magic. Wow, there were so many messages in this card that I wanted to speak on for this pile here, pile 2. You know, like it said, we can aspire to reach the top and reach new heights and experience the peak, the top, yet it can also create isolation. Standing upon it can make us feel like we're higher than others and perfectionists, and creating a separation between us, basically between them and us. And that might be something that you, pile 2, want to take a look at for your self-research. Maybe you feel like you're better than somebody else or better than others. And maybe that's part of your shadow work that you need to work on. No matter how high you ascend, remember that it's within the core of the mountain that the gems, minerals, and jewels reside. So if you think it's about getting to the top, basically, without being fully enthralled, fully incorporated, enhanced, or no, those are not the words, fully emerged from the inside out, you are not going to completely resolve or find your answers. I kind of feel like you could have some ego work to do this week. Sorry if you hear me sipping, I just slugged a whole bunch of pop. So let's see what the Hanged Man says here. There are two bodies, the rudimental and the complete, corresponding with the two conditions of the worm and the butterfly. So the Hanged Man in tarot is a card of deep reflection, and I really feel like it fits perfectly with this reading, because if your ego is a little bit self-centered and people irritate you because you you feel like you know more or you're better than others in some things. That is something you need to work with. And the Hanged Man is a situation where I don't feel like the Hanged Man is tied up and bound against their will always. I feel like they were put there kind of like a timeout. It's kind of for you to sit and really think about what you've done. Just kidding. What you said, what you think, what you've done. It's about taking that time of self-reflection and meditation. And I kind of feel like that is part of the message for pile 2. I mean, with the Magician as well. The Magician card is about focus and turning your visions into reality. And changing, maybe even changing your ways of thinking toward things. As far as the Princess of Pentacles, that's earthly realm, and that is the Page. So the Page of Pentacles is the card of new ways of dreaming up your legacy. Like if you look at this card here, it looks like she's holding that one pentacle in her hand, dreaming about what she wants this one pentacle to do with her life. And that's how I think about this mountain as well. Where do you want this search up the mountain or in the mountain to end? What do you want to discover about yourself? Or do you want to discover? You have to make your legacy, right? And the Pentacles is about you eventually placing or making your legacy. You drawing your path in life and making your legacy. You starting, moving through and finishing, making your ending point to what you want to be remembered as. And there might be things that need to be changed in your patterns of thinking. I'm not saying that you're like all into yourself, but you might have some characteristics where you do feel like you're better than others, or better than some. And then maybe the ones that you don't feel better than makes it even more escalated pain, because you feel like you're better than some, but you don't feel like you're better than all. And that's not where you need to be, right? You don't want to be or need to be better than anybody. You just need to be yourself. I am going to look at the Hanged Man card in the Poe book here. Let me find it. Because I did on the last one. And that, so number 3, that ends up being working together, expression, groups, growth. But it's, again, this is a project that you're doing on your own. So it's not working with people per se. It's working with maybe different ways of thoughts and combining them all to work together to come up with your answer this week, or an idea this week of what makes you feel the way you do. So this one says mesmeric revelation as far as the saying. So it must be from the poem Mesmeric Revelation, if you want to look at that, by Edgar Allan Poe. So it does. It refers to a period of introspection and surrender. It's time for you to surrender some of your ways of thinking to move you forward in what you really want. It says, often things are going on within and around us that transform who we are. It is the chrysalis that we find ourselves cocooning in during our surrender. The remainder of the quote was added to the death card. What we call death is but painful metamorphosis. How appropriate, it says. So the death card is about ending certain ways of thinking, doing things, and that might be something that you may need to do. It may not. This is you working through what you need to do. It's not me telling you what to do. Letting go, trusting the process, and knowing that this is lessons at work. Those are some keywords that came with that, and I think they were all wonderful keywords to help with this reading. The Magician card, I find to be, I love most of the major arcana anyway, but I mean, I find it hard to be unhappy with any of the major arcanas, but the Magician is associated with the planet, or with Mercury, and Mercury is of communication. So the communication that needs to take place is within yourself during this week of work on your journey here through our shadow work. It is associated with the element air. It's associated with all of the elements because the Magician has all the elements. So air, earth, fire, air, and water. So you have all the energies supporting you this week within that Magician card. That's the beauty of the Magician card, because the Magician card holds all the elements in their hands to work with. And it's about plain manifesting what you want, focusing your energy, and solving, kind of a problem solving card. It's about thinking through some of your actions and reactions. This whole 2 weeks is of self-reflection, and definitely on a positive end, the mountain peak is something that we all want to reach. By the end of our lives here on this earth, we all want to reach what we have planned for ourselves. Sometimes it might be something that we think has already been pre-planned for us, but then again, we have free will. I don't like to blame others for things in our life, but it might be motivated. You might have been motivated to this point by ways that you were raised, which is beautiful as well. I mean, you have to take lessons from everything, but you don't have to be a clone of somebody else. You need to add your special footprint on this earth as well. So that ends the reading for pile 2. I'm going to go ahead and head on over to pile 3, and hope to see you there for pile 3. Welcome back, pile 3. My ocean jasper palm stone. There we go. I did go ahead and pull the cards, pre-pull the oracle card. Anima Mundi. Okay, I'm going to read out of the deck again, but let's see what we've got for our cards here. We have, oh my gosh, the Magician. Knight of Rods, Wands, and the Hanged Man. I can't even make this stuff up. So we have a lot of duplicate cards again in pile 2, I think it was, that I just did. I think I had the I had the Hanged Man for sure, and the Magician, I think. So definitely look at the other cards. Look at the other piles for your reading this week. Now let's look up for your shadow work reading this week. Let's look up this card, Anima Monday. Let's see here. Okay, this one's toward the back of the book. The very back of the book. The last card, I think. Okay. The soul of the world. All that is. Anima Monday epitomizes the principle, accept all, reject none. Simply put, it is the living soul of the world in all its multifaceted, multidimensional layers bonded together by loving cosmic forces. Diversity is celebrated, multiplicity is honored, and nothing is denied. Embrace. Constructs of separation dissipate into the wonderful mess of shared consciousness. Anima Monday is the link between the literal and the imaginal, the rational and the mythic. It is the connective fiber that makes life meaningful. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. You will awaken the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. You will sense yourself as a critical note in the cosmic orchestra. Destiny is altered as you hear the enchanted melody of all living things. Okay, so that's a huge message. It says here, when light, tending to the sacred details of life. When dark, overwhelmed by the bigness of existence. And going deeper is alchemical drawings of Anima Monday, the life and paintings of Hilma A.F. Clint. Okay. Okay, so, sorry, I'm just looking at this one. Anima Monday is the energy behind the world card in the tarot deck. Both carry things of universal unity, completeness, and embrace. Okay, so this card to me is saying that you are a part of this universe, and you have the right to share your distinct uniqueness to the world. Let's look at these other cards first before I go on. The Magician, but the Raven, sitting lonely on the placid sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul is that one word he did outpour. I'm going to look up and see what that one word is. I'm going to guess it's evermore, but I'm going to see if I'm wrong here. The Raven. Yep, the Magician is the Raven. So the Magician card is about, I wanted to see Evermore, the Raven. Yes, it had to be, I figured. But if you want to read the Raven poem, you certainly can. All of his poems help with shadow work. It's about alchemy, working with everything inside of you, your inner alchemy. You're straightening out you're working with your inner alchemy. You want to manifest balance within yourself, and there's only one way to do that, is by knowing that you are worthy and that you are part of this, part of history. Your steps are worth taking, and you specifically are worth noting. So the Knight of Wands is, and the Wands is a suit of reason, or excuse me, fire, suit of fire. So the Knight of Wands is about having that passion and that creativity to move forward in this process, and you're feeling it. I feel like you're finding out things about yourself that you didn't know you had. Now this Hanged Man, the Hanged Man is about, I was just looking at the Ankh symbol at the bottom of, I'm holding it, and this is upside down, and then there's the serpent snakes, but he's calm. He's in a meditative state, and he's there for the work. The Hanged Man in this reflection here, or in this pile, is about self-reflection and inner work. I look at the Hanged Man as being a card of self-reflection and figuring out, I've said before, figuring out why things happened, and you looking at past scenarios and saying, well, why did this happen? Well, this happened because I let it happen, basically. You know what I mean? It's like it's you taking the time to figure out how to not make it happen again. In this case, I sometimes use it as as a kind of a timeout card, like you've been put in this timeout situation, but it's not. It's kind of like that, but not necessarily. It's more like you in a self-reflection This is more of a peaceful, a peaceful feeling. But it's almost trance-like, because if you look at those serpents there, they could easily bite him. But he's silent. He's in a meditative state. This is very much a watery energy. Pisces and Neptune energy. It's surrendering. It's the card of surrender. Perspective. Stop fighting things and realize that you need to put your heart into this process, or you will just continue on the same path that you've been on. But that's not what you want. That's not what you want at all. You want more, and that's why you're doing this. You want to figure out what makes you tick, and why you feel the way you do. There could be it could be people that make you, maybe life's lessons with people have made you react the way you do. And that's one thing that I did not bring up in the other readings in the first round and this one so far, is that people can affect you and make you hardened as well. Like, well, for example, I could, if somebody hurts your feelings, betrays you, that hurts. That puts a nick on your soul, per se, a dent. That causes you to change your perspective from your inexperience and Persephone, fool, the fool card type energy of not knowing anything yet. You're learning everything. Life can make you hardened. And that's the other thing that you have to figure out. Is it life that's making you hardened? Maybe it didn't come with you as a child. Maybe the situations that you've been in, you put yourself there, not necessarily at your fault. You've trusted people and they've hurt you. And they've made you the way that you are. They've made you hardened, and they've made you cold, and they've made you easily triggered, per se. And like I said, this is the suit of fire, wands, Knight of Wands, and it is about creating a new perspective. It is about production and imagination, changing the way things, changing your path. It's you turning it around, taking that energy and you turning things around. If somebody hurt you, that was one situation. It's not always easy to get over those, and it does stay with you, but it's not something that came with you. It's something that happened to you. And since we have free will, we can work with that. Some things are harder to work with, but we can work on erasing a lot of that pain. Astrologically associated with this card is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and we are in coming up to Sagittarius season, not quite yet, but yeah, so it is about stewing up those fires of creativity in yourself to figure out what, some of the things that trigger you. And that was the question this week. Who and what was basically the last person that triggered you? Let me find that question if I can. I wrote it down. I want to say it right. When was the last time you felt defensive, and who or what caused that feeling, and what behaviors upset you in people most, and what behaviors upset you in yourself most? Those might be things that you want to readdress this week as well. So, my friends, definitely look up Anima Monday, and I hope that you come back next week for week 3 and you've lifted some negative energies off yourself, negative feelings off yourself. And I hope you have a beautiful, blessed week, and you can carry Persephone with you if you'd like to think of her, or my ring with pomegranates, or the pyramid. So anyways, we will see you back again. Have a beautiful, blessed week.